Last time on Lost and Found. We woke up early to unexpected rain. Unsure of how the road would hold up, we rolled off the mountain at the delightful hour of 6 a.m. We took it as a sign to start making our way towards our final destination in Alaska. Groggy, we set out on a little roadside hike. Only to realize we hiked out on the wrong side of the creek once we got to our destination. Whoops. We spent our final days in Alaska visiting with my whole family, who happened to all be in Fairbanks at the same time. It was refreshing to be surrounded by loved ones for a few days, and a welcome distraction from the inevitable. It was hard to imagine leaving Alaska, even though we'd already put it into motion. Just left a clinic and got our COVID test. We are COVID-free, which hopefully means that we should be able to be across the border without too much of an issue tomorrow. Just shy of the US and Canadian border, we stopped for the night and watched the last light of day drain from the sky. We couldn't have asked for a better last morning in Alaska. So we took our time soaking it in before getting on the road. Originally, we had planned to take our time through Canada. But winter was fast approaching, and so were dates for important obligations that required us to compress our timeline. Now, all that laid between us and the lower 48 was about 2,000 miles, 33 long hours of driving, and only 10 days to do it in. And just like that, we were gone. When we drove through the Yukon on our way north a few months prior, we passed Lake Luani and swore we would stop on our way south. Wanting to enjoy the nice weather, we decided to spend a few days sitting still. Lake Luani was peaceful and put on an impressive night sky, something we hadn't seen much of over the summer. I really love it. Oh.
It might be a struggle to get back here with the wind blowing the way it is.
Oh my.
Steinbeck wrote in Travels with Charlie that a trip rarely concludes when it physically ends. Instead, trips end well before or carry on long after the physical journey comes to an end. It's something that takes time and hindsight to see. Our journey wasn't physically over, but to the both of us, it had come to an end the night we camped alongside Canwell Glacier. In 1942, Army engineers were building the Alcan Highway. During construction, a homesick officer added a sign with the distance to his hometown in Illinois. Ever since, people passing through Watson Lake have added their own signs. We saw signs from Laos, Mexico, Germany, Japan, Tasmania, China, Austria, Argentina, and beyond. There were signs to commemorate weddings, lost loved ones, and to document grand adventures. In all honesty, I thought the sign forest was going to be hokey, like many roadside attractions are. But as we walked through over 50,000 signs and were immersed in everyone's messages, it felt like something else entirely. I felt an overwhelming sense of optimism. The Signpost Forest has become a shrine to curiosity and the desire to get to know the world. And what's not to love about that? Canadian burrito from good old Timmy Hort's. It looks a little different than the picture. The food came all the way out. As we made our way into British Columbia, we began to see signs of familiar landscapes. Dry, arid plains with steep rock outcroppings, reminiscent of those in Montana and Wyoming. It was weirdly comforting. Got a pizza for to-go, but I can tell you it's not gonna go very far. Oh, yes. Good choice, Owen. With days of long drives behind us, we were in desperate need of a break from sitting. We made good time getting to Squamish and wanted to do one last thing before crossing back into the States. We settled on a steep hike to gain views of the Sound below. Mid-hike pizza. It's a real vibe. The weather matched our mood as we made our way to the border. The long drive south had given us the opportunity to sit with the experiences we had had over the last few months. It allowed us to turn them over in our minds as the miles ticked by. One thing is certain. Alaska had fully imprinted itself on us, giving us a place to revisit in our minds. In the quiet moments in life, we'll return to watch the Bears fish Brooks Falls. We'll be waiting for Denali to make her appearance from the clouds. I'll make my way into the waters of the Turnagain Arm to surf. Owen will be left speechless in an ice cave. We'll watch the Northern Lights for the first time, over and over again. We'll carry Alaska with us no matter where we go from here. April 8th, 2022. The French novelist Marcel Proust wrote, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." Travel changes the way that we see and understand the world and ourselves. We started this journey lost, frustrated, and grieving. Somewhere out there in the vastness of Alaska, we found ourselves. I thought it was that simple, but there's a lot more to it. Our journey didn't end on the edge of Canwell Glacier. After re-examining our time in Alaska, we know that our journey is just now coming to an end. We're walking away with a better understanding of who we are, what's important to us, and what we want to do with our lives. Woohoo! You can see my house from here.